Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Sally Pinto and I'm from the Yonkers Newark neighborhood naturally occurring retirement community. We launched back in January of 2020 and we're here to serve seniors 60 plus in Northeast Yonkers. We have lots of fun programs and activities, and we also have a lot of resources for you as well. Our programs include meditation chair yoga, body mind fitness, bingo, and any other programs that you might be interested, like arts and gardening. We have our resource specialist, Alyssa Smith, who can help you with finding services and activities out there for you, as well as our nurse, Barbara Simone, who can help answer your health-related questions. We're here for you, we're here for our community, and we look forward to seeing you in our programs. Enjoy.
Hello, everybody. I'm Alyssa Smith, the resource specialist with the Yonkers Newark. I'm here to help with application assistance, referrals for home delivered meals, and transportation services will be coming soon. We also offer Zoom activities and Zoom programs. And if you have any other questions or concerns, I'm here to help. Thank you so much and enjoy the program.
Welcome. I'm Barbara Simone, registered nurse. I recently retired from Westchester County's health department as a public health nurse. I am now here to try to assist you with any medical or preventive care issues. Enjoy this program, and I'm looking forward to working with you.
Hey, thanks so much everybody for joining today. Like they said, my name is Alyssa Advincula. I work with Feeding Westchester with a program called Just Say Yes to Fruits and Vegetables. Every other week, we've been going through a lesson from our curriculum, which is made up of 13 different lessons. Today we're going to be talking about physical activity. The lessons are non-cumulative, so if you haven't joined in on another workshop, you won't feel that you missed out on anything today. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. It's always voice by choice in here, so I'm not going to call on anybody, but please, please, please participate. It makes it so much more fun, and you get so much more out of the class. I have my phone in front of me, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm checking in on the chat box to see if anybody is asking any questions or answering any questions. So don't mind me if you see me looking down. So let's get started. Right off the bat, anybody want to describe to me what they would think physical activity is described as or defined as? Okay, so it's fine. I'm going to give you guys a second because a definition can sometimes take a little while. Oh, Sally wrote movement, absolutely, in one word, physical activity, movement. Wally said movement of any kind, absolutely. Yep, Sally beat you, sorry, that's okay, there's no competition here, even though we're talking about physical activity. Physical activity, of course, doesn't always have to be competitive. So, physical activity is defined as exercise and physical activity, any body movement that works your muscles and requires more energy than your usual daily activities. Can anybody list what some physical activities might be? So, yep, somebody said yoga. Sally said yoga, absolutely. Walking, yes. Okay, hiking. Yep, these are all great examples of physical activity. Cleaning, running, gardening, dancing, jogging, yes. These are all such great examples of physical activity. So again, walking briskly, running, dancing, swimming, yoga. These are all examples of physical activity. Doing housework such as vacuuming, mowing the lawn, and gardening. These all count as, you know, as long as you're doing them sort of at a consistent pace for at least 10 minutes at a time, you're really encouraging a healthy lifestyle. So does anybody know how much physical activity we should be getting on a weekly basis? That being said, so we should be getting about 30 minutes of physical activity. About how many days a week? Oh, somebody wrote 4 hours a week. So 4 hours a week, or about 150 minutes a week, or about 30 minutes of physical activity 5 days a week. So 5 to 6 days a week, if we can. But never feel intimidated by these these are just guidelines. And of course, our goal should be to get 30 minutes of physical activity 5 to 6 days a week. But you know what? There's phases in our lives that we may not have the ability or the opportunity to get in that exact amount of time as the guidelines say. So do what you can, even if you can, and maybe you can break it up. So like I said before, getting 10-minute intervals of physical activity at a time. So maybe you're at work and there's a staircase, you can walk up and down the staircase for 10 minutes, 3 times a day. That's just one example of a way to just get in that physical activity, get that blood pumping. Just little ways to try and get it in. But if all you had was to be able to get in 10 minutes in a day, that's a great start. That's somewhere to start. Don't feel intimidated by the numbers and let that deter you from getting in the physical activity that you should be getting. Because once we start, we somehow end up finding time to make a little more time. I know that with myself, I often do that. I'll be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for a walk for 10 minutes. And then 30 minutes later, I found myself, I'm still walking, or maybe I even picked up the pace and went for a jog. So the goal is to just get started. So does anyone know why we should really be getting physical activity? And everybody knows that it's good for us. Do you know why it's good for us? So physical activity, I just wanted to wait to see if anybody was responding. Yes, Sally wrote mental health, absolutely. Yes, aside from all other factors, and that's the number one guiding factor that helps us in the long run and will help us to maintain a lifestyle that includes physical activity, is maintaining our mental health. So yes, absolutely. So Wally wrote, takes toxins out of our body. Sure, sweating, absolutely. Definitely. So physical activity helps to prevent and manage heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure. Does anybody want to add to that list of things that it might help to prevent? So it also helps to manage our weight by, of course, you're burning more calories in the day. Somebody else just wrote something. Helps to improve your cholesterol, your bone health. Absolutely. Physical activity. So Sally wrote, it helps with your bone health. Yes, it does do this by putting impact on your bones. You actually help to break your bones down, and then they build up even stronger. So especially weight bearing exercise with dumbbells, things like that, it helps with our bone health. Wally wrote, it helps improve our immune system, our digestive system. Absolutely, it helps to keep things moving through our body. Of course, you know, if you've ever seen or known someone that's bedridden, for example, you see the extreme of how not getting physical activity slows down their bowel movements. So absolutely, the more you move, the more your digestive system will be healthy. So like I said, it helps to manage your weight. What's something else? Another benefit, sleeping better at night. How about sleeping better at night? Oh, the lights just turned on. So sleeping better at night because, of course, you're burning more calories, you're burning more energy in your day. So you're going to be more tired at the end of the day if you've been getting in physical activity most days of the week. So yeah, you're going to sleep better. You're going to get into a deeper sleep. And again, like Sally had mentioned, it helps to improve your bone health. And what's another added benefit? More aesthetic, maybe. So it helps to give us energy, which brightens up our faces. It brightens up our moods, and it helps us to feel good about ourselves. Sally wrote, healthier skin, absolutely. So it helps you feel and look good. That's so important. Helps with that, again, helps with our mental health when we feel and look good about ourselves. When we have energy, we want to do more things, get out. So all around, physical activity is so important for us to have in our daily lives. And like I said, for everybody, some physical activity is better than none. So again, if that 30-minute number 5 to 6 days a week sounds intimidating, just start somewhere. Go for a walk. Go walk up and down the stairs a couple of times, and you'll probably find that you end up doing that physical activity for a lot longer than you initially planned. Maybe if walking and running up and down the stairs is not your thing, maybe go turn on a YouTube video, type in yoga, something like that. There's so many different ways to get in physical activity. So, make it your own. Like we always say when we're making a recipe, make it your own. Make it do what you enjoy. Would everybody here or anybody here say that they probably do reach the goal of getting 30 minutes of physical activity in about 5 days a week? Or even if you don't? Well, I wrote, totally awesome, Wally, good for you. So would you care to share what you usually do for physical activity? You don't, again, this is voice by choice in here, so don't.
Well, I do Zumba, yoga. I've started doing swimming, riding a bike.
Awesome.
I even tried belly dancing, which actually moves your body in different positions. There's so many things that Yonkers Library has.
Oh, true. And these are all, actually, I'm gonna write some of these ideas down because we wanna today think about low cost. I don't know if you guys could see this, but low cost ways to be physically active. So like you mentioned, all of these physical activities could be found through the library, and you could follow along, and all these activities are free. So Zumba, yoga, belly dancing. That one sounds really fun. I think you meant, swimming. Any other low cost ways that we want to mention to get in? Absolutely. And you know what? We have that added benefit in Westchester County of having so many neighborhoods that are so hilly. So you get that that extra cardiovascular activity, that blood pumping just from walking up and down hills, that we try and recreate when we go out and go on treadmills. You know, or if we're on a treadmill, we're moving the treadmill up and down, incline, decline. We don't even have to go on the treadmill here in Westchester County because we have so many hills. So what was that? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. They have trails.
Yes, trails, definitely.
Biking. If you have a bike, if you can balance yourself still, you're not at a point in your life where you're not able to.
Definitely.
Yeah, mall walking.
Yes. These are all such great ideas. Mall walking. Especially, you know, in cold or wet weather, we may not want to go outside, but there's always a mall that we can find and just go for a walk there.
Now the casino is open now.
Oh.
Inside. It's air conditioned, heated, plenty of bathrooms, beautiful inside. So
I had no idea. That's so cool. Thank you.
I don't do that, but I want to. It's bad enough I was trying to find there.
You'll get there.
I don't gamble. I just go to see events if they have.
Yeah, it's just fun to see what's going on in there, right?
Yes. So much space. I mean, there's plenty of parking. I mean, it's flat. So, you know.
Yeah. So, and something else that we could do is so simple, just turn on the music, dance. Even if we feel like we're totally uncoordinated, who cares? We're in our own homes. Just turn on the music and have some fun. You'd be surprised how silly you can get, even if you're by yourself, if you hear a good song, and put your hand to your, heartbeat, and you'll see how fast your heart is beating when you're dancing. Of course, guys, make sure that you're in the right health before you start any new physical activity routine. Maybe check in with your doctor before you really get that heart pumping. I don't want to cause any issues for you guys, but if you've been to the doctor recently or whatever the case may be, go ahead and just get started slowly, take it slow. I hear so many people, it's this beautiful weather, they get outside and they immediately go for a run, and then they tell me that their knees hurt. And I'm like, just start off with a walk, start off walking, then walk a little bit faster and a little bit faster and graduate to a jog. You know what? You're burning plenty of calories, because if your body's not used to that walking, then it's all what our bodies get used to. And over time, no, we won't. If we're going to be going for that same walk every day, no, we won't be, after a month or so, we won't be burning as many calories as we were in the beginning when it was harder for us. But it's all about, graduating and starting off slow so we don't hurt ourselves, or because if we hurt ourselves, then we're back at square one and we're not able to get active. So yeah, like we were talking about with low cost physical activities, Wally had mentioned that he takes a lot of these classes through the library. And of course, there's other organizations, the YMCA or faith-based organizations And you can always rent tapes or DVDs from the library. You can go on YouTube. There's so many low cost ways to get physically active. Would anybody care to share what some of their barriers to physical activity might be? So, oh, I'm sorry, while I have written, I suggest to people if you can even go to get the mail or throw out the trash, sweep the stairs if possible, walk around the aisle if you can in a supermarket, the healthy aisles so that you're not tempted, right, to purchase things when we may not want to be purchasing. So going to the supermarket, walking down the healthy aisles. Some have supermarket workshops, for example, to get them out and moving. Go around the block once and see if you could spot a bird or an animal or something of interest. Yeah, why not? They'll make for a good conversation. I saw on, I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Next Door webpage, somebody said that they were on a trail and they saw a raccoon carrying a baby raccoon on its back, and I thought that was adorable. And it made for a whole conversation on this Next Door message board. So some other barriers, feeling tired or unwell, obesity. So Jennifer, absolutely, that could definitely be a barrier, but like we were talking about, whether it's you that you're speaking about or a friend or a family member, whatever the case may be, I just always suggest starting off slow and go for a slow walk and go a little bit faster as time goes by. It doesn't even have to be in the same session. Maybe after 2 weeks, you go a little bit more at a faster pace. Gina wrote, vertigo could stop people, no balance for a lot of people. I know what vertigo is. I'm not too familiar with the solutions, but I'm sure if somebody is seeing their health professional, they would have some great tips on how that individual could safely go about getting physical activity. So I don't want to make any recommendations for that type of individual, but I think in many cases with vertigo, if you got up and made sure that you gained your balance and then you went for a slow walk, then I think that individual might be okay. But again, I would check in with a health professional. So while he wrote mood, somebody's mood could be a barrier. And while absolutely, somebody may not be in the mood to go for exercise, and what might help that individual is if they, for the future, scheduled a time for themselves. So maybe they put it on their phone in their calendar that at whatever, 7 a.m. or 5 p.m. they made that commitment to themselves that they're going to go for a walk that day. And they'd probably be surprised that if they actually got themselves to go, they would end up feeling so much better. So I think that we covered a lot of area. Just always remember that nutrition and physical activity are key factors for living a long and healthy life, guys. A healthy diet rich in fruits and vegetables also helps to keep our bodies healthy and reduces our risk of chronic disease, which brings me to the recipe that we're going to be conducting today. Guys, I'm actually going to be looking at the recipe from my phone, so I'm not going to be looking at the chat box. So if anybody shares anything in the chat box, somebody else maybe can assist me in telling me what was shared. So today we're making an autumn fruit salad. I don't know if anybody had a chance to get the ingredients or saw the recipe in advance, but it's such a delicious, refreshing recipe. I'm gonna be making half the recipe today. So the recipe calls for grapes, apples, a banana, pears, and low-fat vanilla yogurt. I think in another workshop, I've used this yogurt before. It's a 2%, so it's a low-fat yogurt. It's not vanilla flavored. Guys, I don't use flavored yogurts because they tend to be so much higher in sugar. I'd rather whatever recipe I'm making to get the flavor from things that I'm combining it with. And in this case, I've made this recipe before, and when you combine the yogurt with the cinnamon, which is in this recipe, it also calls for the cinnamon. And it says that you could use apple cider or juice. I don't do that. Again, it's so sweet without it, so why add extra to it? You know, that tablespoon of apple cider doesn't really add too much more nutrition to the recipe. So if it tastes good without it, I figure why add it. Again, these recipes are always your own, so please, please, please make them your own. And again, another optional ingredient is the almond slivers. I'll add it today. Why not? It adds another little crunch, a little more protein. Of course, why would I leave that out? So I'm gonna get started. The recipe says to cut the grapes, the apples, the banana, and the pears. So basically all the fruit that's in the recipe, just gotta cut it up. So I'm gonna cut these, I'm gonna measure out the grapes. It says to use 2.5 cups of seedless grapes, but like I said, I'm doing half the recipe, so I need 1.25 cups. So this is 1 cup right here. And you know what, I'm gonna wipe my hands again, but of course, it's important that we always wash our hands before. So I washed my hands before with soap and water. I washed all of my fruit before we got started today. It's important to wash all of your fruit. Does anybody know why? So there could be germs, bacteria on the outside of the fruit. So
Common sense.
yeah, I mean, even a banana, guys. It's important to, so if you're using half the banana like we are today, we should wash it, because what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut that banana in half, and there could be bacteria on the outside of the banana. So when I cut from the outside to the inside, that'll touch the inside.
You could
Oh,
just
you said
split
a
it
good one.
with
I'm
your
sorry, go
hand.
ahead.
You
What's
could
that?
do it without going with a knife. Yeah.
I couldn't hear you.
Okay. You could split it with your hands. Like,
Oh, yeah, you
okay.
could split it with your hands, but then you know what, if there was bacteria and then we're touching the inside of the banana or whatever other fruit, we could still spread it to the inside.
Yeah.
So why not, better safe than sorry. Wash all your fruit whenever.
They have this spray, Alyssa, that,
Yeah.
in the produce department at Acme. I don't know
Mhm.
how good it is. I mean, I'm, I wash my fruit like 20 million times before I eat fruits and vegetables. I got a brush, I've got a cloth, paper towels,
Oh, you.
Anyway,
So they have a spray that you use sometimes too?
and a spray, it's probably vinegar and water or something like that. I had a friend
You're really playing it safe, and I like that. So I just cut up my bananas, and then it says 2.5 cups of seedless grapes. Do 1.25 cups. So I have 1 cup right here, and then I have my 1/4 cup. So I'm just gonna cut these in half. you don't really have to. I've done this recipe without cutting the grapes in half. So if you want to just save some time, you can always, and you could really cut them in either direction, whichever you prefer, if you are cutting them. So nothing fancy here, guys. We're just cutting these grapes in half. So just for the sake of time, like I said, we can cut them in half like the recipe says. We don't have to. I'm just gonna throw these in because I don't want you guys to feel like I'm wasting your time here. I'm gonna cut it says to use 2 apples. I'm using 1 because like I said, I am only doing half the recipe. You can use an apple core cutter, the one that you like just press down. A lot of the time I do that. Whatever your preference is. So I would definitely recommend, absolutely, as much as I say with the grapes, you don't have to cut them. Definitely the apples and the pears. So I'm just, I cut off like 4 ways around the apple, and then I'm just laying them on their side. And then I'm cutting them lengthwise, like crisscross cutting them, and then cutting them the opposite way. So does anybody know what some benefits of this recipe might be, especially considering that we're discussing physical activity today? So I love
filling.
It's filling, absolutely. It's filled with fiber and all different fruit, which is high in water content, right? Any other benefits? So
Give you energy before exercise?
definitely, I was thinking after exercise, so maybe we want to have it at least an hour to 2 hours before exercise, because it is fiber filled, and if we're doing any rigorous exercise, we don't want to get like any stomach cramps or anything like that. I was thinking for after exercise, so we replenish our hydration and we nourish our muscles and our bones by, since this recipe includes yogurt, the yogurt has a lot of protein in it, so which helps to build our muscles back and helps to build our bones back even stronger. So that's a big source of the reason that I always like to prepare this recipe when I'm discussing physical activity with a group. So again, the pear, I'm gonna pretty much do the same thing I did with the apple. I'm just gonna cut around and then lay it down on the flat side and chop it up. What's something else that you guys might add to this recipe? Or take away?
Nuts or
Yeah, we are doing the sliced almonds, so you could use them or not, whichever you prefer. So everybody here.
What about like flaxseed or chia seed or something?
Totally. And you could let those, if you're letting the recipe chill, then those chia seeds would have the chance to do what they're supposed to do and expand. And you'd be adding definitely more fiber and more protein. Does everybody here like cinnamon? Is that something that you guys would use in the recipe? Because you can always add a different spice. Maybe somebody else likes the flavor of nutmeg better or something like that. You could always do that.
How much cinnamon would you put? Like, is there like a?
So yeah, the recipe actually calls for 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So I'm gonna do it for this one. I'm gonna do half a teaspoon of cinnamon. But some people absolutely love cinnamon, so they might want to add even more, who knows? And since the recipe actually calls for vanilla yogurt and I'm not using a flavored yogurt, if you might miss that vanilla flavoring, then what I suggest is to maybe get vanilla extract and just to use a little drop of that to give it the flavor, that vanilla flavor that you might be missing. And that way you're using the unsweetened yogurt and you're not adding any sugar by using that vanilla extract.
Sometimes instead of using the vanilla extract, because I don't like the sweetness in it, like fructose, I buy the actual vanilla stem and take a little knife and smear it out. And then you get all the nutrition of it, plus the sweetness, but without that like corn fructose syrup.
Yeah, so
it takes a little more time, but it's so much more tasteful.
That's such a great idea. So here's a little fruit salad before adding in the yogurt. You can see how beautiful it is. And now it says to, in a small bowl, mix the yogurt with the cinnamon and apple cider juice. We're not, like I said, we're not doing the apple cider or juice today. We're just gonna mix the yogurt with the cinnamon. And it says to use, how much yogurt? It said to use 1 cup of yogurt. So again, we're gonna do a half a cup. All right, and I'm just gonna stick it in the bowl. And I have my cinnamon. So I have a half a teaspoon. Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna mix it up. We have our yummy mixture that we're going to then just combine right into the fruit salad. And then it says to chill the recipe. You don't have to. You can eat it right away, or of course, you can prepare in advance and you have it throughout the week. We talked before in our other workshop about meal prep. This is really a great recipe to make so that you have it for a few days. Especially if you're on the go. You could just put this in a Tupperware and bring it with you. It's such a great filling recipe. And maybe you got to go for a walk in the middle of your workday, and after that you want something satiating. So this will be a great midday snack if you got to maybe get your exercise in while you were at work. So I'm just gonna mix this up. Really coat all the fruit with the yogurt. In my own time, I probably would have scraped the yogurt out of the other bowl, but again, for the sake of your time, I'm just gonna show you what this looks like. And then I'm just gonna add those almond slivers that we spoke about. So it says a half a cup of almond slivers, I'm gonna do a quarter cup. And put them right on top so that you can see what it would look like if you were maybe serving it to family. Such a pretty, maybe you wanna sprinkle a little more cinnamon on top to give it an even prettier look. And voila. Here's our
Wow.
fruit salad. It's really so delicious. I highly recommend it. Again, guys, make it your own.
Hi, everyone. This is Z from Yonkers Public Library. Thanks so much to Sally Pinto and Alexis and Barbara from Newark. Thank you to our community partners, WJCS, the City of Yonkers Office for the Aging, Westchester County Legislator Ruth Walter, Friends of Crestwood Library, and Yonkers Public Library for making this phenomenal partnership. And we thank each and every one of you for being part of our wellness community. Be well, stay well.